So, g'day, Simo and Ed here for the Fast Line Track Growth Show, where we talk all things karting and business. This week, we're going to talk about the hidden costs in your business.
Cool.
Hidden costs, eh?
There's a lot of them.
Yeah, absolutely.
It came as a surprise when I used to run my proper business. But let's jump straight into one that is just not really, I think, a commonly understood cost unless you're actually in that arena of HR, which is recruitment or attrition. So how many people you're losing from your company. I forget the official stats, but in the UK, I've got a feeling, I read somewhere, it's like 12 to 15% of your staff will leave in 1 year, typically. So that means, in rough ballpark terms, every 6.5 years, you have to replace all your staff. No, it doesn't quite work like that, but there is quite a lot of flux in there, and it costs money to recruit.
Yeah. It's not just the cost of the job ad. Most business owners probably think, oh yeah, to replace a staff member, it's going to cost me £100 on an ad on Indeed or wherever. No, there's your time, there's your labour that's included. I mean, you've got to place the ad. There's your first cost, right? You've got to write the ad.
Yep.
You've got to write a good ad. That's not always easy.
Nope.
You've got to sift through all those CVs.
Yeah.
Then you've got to have those interviews.
And they've got to be structured.
Yeah.
If you're really smart, you're having more than one interview. You're probably having at least 2 for trackside, and if it's somebody in your senior management team, 3.
Yeah.
There we go. We're in agreement. Good.
Yeah.
So that's going to be a time issue, and then of course people start.
And then you've got to onboard them.
Now, the onboarding process, there's huge costs around that because they may be like pulling up trees and doing great things and fulfilling in the role, but it just takes people a long time to get their head around the culture, what's going on, how we do things around here. So there's a delay then that typically impacts on your revenue figures.
Yeah. I mean, I reckon it's a 3 or 4 month period to onboard someone properly.
Oh, easily.
You know.
Easily.
And just so they're at a point where they sort of get your culture, get what the business does, how the business does it. You know, so there are some, and that's a large cost. So that's, you know, all the time you're spending with them, all the time, you know, that your team is training them, and that 3-4 month salary while they're getting up to speed.
Yeah. On top of the obvious costs that you're probably thinking about when you first heard us say recruitment or attrition. Absolutely massive.
So
it's a biggie. Next one, invoicing.
Ha.
There's a huge cost to invoicing. The bean counters in your company now are going, no, we're very cost efficient. But to raise an invoice, if you're doing corporate down at your track, quite often there'll be a company saying, can you raise an invoice? Or here's our purchase order number. There's a cost. And it's probably, a minimal cost is probably £15 to £30. If you're a larger company, it would not surprise me if you've got 2 or 3 tracks and a few people kicking around, if your costs are somewhere near a £75 an invoice.
It's not just raising an invoice.
Yeah.
It's actually receiving an invoice too.
Yeah. And the operational processes around handling through the company.
So, I mean, you know, you've got the invoice, the goods come in, you check it off.
Yeah.
Then you hand it to your bookkeeper to process it. You know, there's £20.
Yeah, and it just disappears, and it's so little understood. I mean, hand on heart now, I can't tell you what it costs me to raise an invoice within my own business, right? But I could make an educated guess because I've got it streamlined all online, so everything's very, very, very streamlined, and I'm still going to put my neck in the noose here and say, I reckon it's costing me at least £12 to raise an invoice. And I'm a very simple, streamlined business. So where you're perhaps not doing that as, because you've got consumers in there probably aren't asking for invoices, but you've got the corporate side and you've got to react and think differently and it's handled differently. There's no way a track has got a lesser cost than that, I would suspect, unless you have, in which case tell me all about it because I'm interested in you.
No, I mean, you know, invoicing here can be quite costly.
Yeah.
Because we've got a lot of tracks ordering weekly.
Yeah.
Now, sometimes the paper copies go out with the boxes, but they don't make it to the accountant.
Okay.
So the accountant is ringing up going, I've got this invoice on the 5th of December for £187, you know. Then you've got to find it and you've got to send it to them.
Yeah, that's going to happen with your corporates down at the track, isn't it? They're
Yeah.
going to get an invoice, but then somebody's going to come along and they might have done it on expenses, and then they're not knocking on the door going, "Can we have it?" And you're like, "I gave you the invoice, but you've still got to go and find it for them." So invoice is just one of those big hidden costs that nobody ever really thinks about unless you're in the bean counting side of the business.
Yeah. Number 3.
Well, I've called it doing stuff you're crap at. Right.
I'm going to put my hand up on this one.
Oh, good, go for it.
Video editing. That's why we hired Josie.
We've got a lovely lady called Josie who edits all our videos for us.
Because I was crap at it.
Well, no, you were good at it, but how long was it taking? So that's the point, really. Doing stuff you're not good at is not sensible. Bookkeeping's the one I always go to. Very few bookkeepers, I think, are running go-kart tracks. It's not impossible. I can think of one, actually, who might have that background. But it's a rarity. So if you're doing your own books, not only are you probably taking a lot longer than a bookkeeper would take, you're probably doing a really crap job at it. So you do nobody any favours. You're just adding additional stress, cost, and everything into your working environment. It's crazy.
Cleaning's another one.
Yeah.
You know,
Get a proper cleaner in.
Yeah, but I mean, I'd go back to the video editing one.
Yeah.
And me, you know, that's not my forte. So whenever I got a bit of background noise, and I'd have to Google how to get rid of background noise in Adobe Premiere Pro. Then I'd have to watch the video.
Find it.
Yeah. Whereas
Track it down.
Josie probably knows how to do that in her sleep.
She's turned stuff around very quickly for us, and I don't know how she does it, but there we go. Josie, no doubt you're listening to this. You're doing a great job. The real thing to do here is to just analyse what you're doing day to day, week to week, and then ask yourself, am I really the best person to be doing this?
Good old EAT.
Yeah.
Eliminate, automate, terminate.
Transfer. Yeah. So if you've got stuff on your desk, this is a good habit to get into anyway. We talked about it in another video. If you're a really, really good business owner, right, you're not actually busy. Everything is off your desk, so you either eliminate it from your desk because it's just was never really needed. You automate it because technology is available to do it, or you transfer it to somebody else with the skill set. So the examples we've given there, the transfer side of it, all fit in there. That's because we haven't eliminated or automated anything recently, I don't think. But there will be examples in your business. Stop doing stuff you're crap at.
Yeah, absolutely. And then another hidden cost is shrinkage.
Yeah, now this is probably a more obvious cost.
Yeah.
You know, and maybe me, I think I'm fairly easygoing. If they have the odd chocolate bar behind the counter at the go-kart track, I'm probably not going to kick off too much. But if it becomes a habit where they're eating 2, 3, 4 a day, it's coming straight off my bottom line. And that's before you've got, you know, the kids coming into the track with their own 5-finger discount. But it is theft. Straight off your bottom line.
It's not just shrinkage, it's spoilage too.
Yeah.
Certain products have use-by dates. I mean, Christ, I've got a whole lot of eyewash bottles that I've got to throw out.
Okay.
Because someone ordered way too many.
Interesting.
You know, and
when did you order them? No, I'm joking. Not just that though, it's the way that things are stored.
Yeah.
So here we are in the UK, we're in the thick of winter, so in the southern hemisphere I think you're in the thick of summer. But if we're not aware, because in the thick of winter we could leave chocolate bars in a box out there, they're not melting. Yeah. But if you want to go and try that in July, August, even with our inclement weather, you're probably just going to spoil the whole box.
Yeah. So, or that ice cream thing, ice cream freezer. The power goes, and all that.
It's not the same, is it?
No.
Yeah.
No. So, you know, you need to be on top of those things.
Yeah.
Because they can add up.
Well, if you get on top of those and you say out of the 4 things we've just discussed, if you're getting 1 or 2%, like and adding it to your bottom line, it really multiplies really quickly. 1% in every area of your business doesn't just add up to the sum terms of like 4 things at 1%. Isn't 4% growth?
No.
It actually starts to leverage and compound. So you start to notice that on your bottom line. So it's all about being aware of it first of all, and from that awareness, bringing in sort of steps to go and stop it from happening.
Yeah, absolutely. All right. Well, that's probably a good point to stop the video.
I think so.
You know, we'll see you next week.
Looking forward to it.
Yep. It's goodbye from me.
Cheerio from me.
And we'll see you next week.
See you soon.
Ciao.
Bye.